go.
Well, welcome to the July meeting of the Fayetteville Advertising and Promotion Commission. I'm Todd Martin. I'm the chair representing the tourism and hospitality industry. Also joined by Elvis Moya, who's from the University of Arkansas representing tourism and hospitality. Chrissy Sanderson, representing Mockingbird Kitchen from tourism and hospitality. Andrew Presby, who is our commissioner at large, and Sarah Bunch and Mark Kenyon, who are both city council representatives. First up on old business is a review of the June 2022 minutes. And I'll give the commissioners a moment to review those and ask if there are any additions or corrections to the minutes.
I move to approve.
Seconded.
There's a move and second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes and the June minutes are approved. New business. Molly Ron, the CEO report.
Hi. Okay. And you should have, this was not in your packet. I apologize. There are copies, though, that are with you. And if you don't have a copy, raise your hand. I'll be happy to get you one. I was in Toronto. CEO report. At the top of it are just what to expect in the coming months. August, we'll be sharing with you all our requests for proposals for an advertising agency of record. We are thrilled with the work that we continue to do with the sales agency. This is simply put out there as a matter of course to be good stewards. Every so often we want to put back out that RFP, and the same goes for our IT provider, so we'll share information with you about that. You'll also, we will unveil makes it sound quite dramatic, but we will share with you all our new process that we are proposing for distributing tourism incentives. I don't know where that came from. Tourism incentives. So this is what was formerly known as the grant program, and we did away with that during COVID, and now it is time to bring it back in some form or fashion. So we have some, we have a plan to share with you about how we propose to do that moving forward. We also, in Q3, so likely next month or September, we'll be hearing our presentation from Theater Squared. This will be the first of what will now be annual presentations from T2. Experience Fayetteville sales. I won't read all of this, as I have been told we apparently have 20 minutes, but I had a couple of things that I do want to point out. Julie and Tina have been working very hard. One of the initiatives that we talked a little bit about last month is we all know that Fayetteville has for a long time, we talk a lot about cycling, meaning bicycles, but also it's quite a motorcycle destination as well. And that has been sort of a fraught relationship, as you all know, with the annual Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. And the relationship with that event and with motorcycles has been, I think fraught was really the best word. I landed it the first time. One of the things that Tina is very passionate about, she is rides motorcycles herself, specifically adventure riding and dual sport. And so she has really been working on an initiative that I think she's going to share more about with you at a future meeting, about really changing the image of that and about all the positive things that can come with that and ways that we can market that that are in keeping with Fayetteville's image and Fayetteville's values. And so as a part of that, we have a new motorcycle page on our website. I'd encourage you to go look at it. And we've partnered with Arkansas Tourism to do a photo shoot. So we'll be sharing those photos soon, I'm sure. Also, Tina attended, along with Hazel and myself, Destinations International. We just got back on Friday. It was in Toronto this year. And this is destination marketing organizations from across the U.S. and some from Europe and Canada as well. It is the best conference that we go to. And I eventually want to get to a point where everybody on the team can go at least once. And we came back with a lot of ideas and very energized. It is a very, very good conference, and I'm glad we attended. And it was Tina's first time to go. So. And we've also had 5 sporting events just since the last meeting. So sporting events continue to come to town and fill our hotels. Marketing, you'll have a full marketing report later in the agenda, but a couple of things. We are working on some finishing touches to Vanny. We are getting the tables and the furniture and some of the interior pieces wrapped and branded. And the goal is that at the August 1st Thursday, it to really be us to go full tilt with the van. Also, Hazel and her team are attending the Hog Walk Symposium this week. And I don't know if any of you have, there are probably varying degrees of familiarity with NIL, the name, image, and likeness, and how those rules changed. So Hazel and her team are
Just a little bit.
Just
they
a little bit.
changed. Just a little.
Are going to the symposium, and the point is giving a chance for local business leaders to build relationships with those student athletes, specifically in the football program. And so we're going to evaluate whether or not there are marketing opportunities for us there. So more to come. Cycling. I hope those of you, I hope some of you were able to see the announcement that the Ozark Outdoor Foundation, the press conference was, I believe, last Tuesday, and I could not be, I would have absolutely been there, but I was away at the conference. The Ozark Outdoor Foundation is hosting the Cyclocross World Cup. They are the producing organization with a lot of support from us. It is again at Centennial Park, October 14th through 16th. The press conference, I have gotten a couple of questions about why it was at Children's Hospital, which is in Springdale, and I will tell you why. So Arkansas Children's has been chosen by the Ozark Outdoor Foundation as the charitable recipient of some of the fundraising efforts for cyclocross. And so we are still the host city. It is still at Centennial Park. I still think it will be well, I know it will be a fantastic event for Fayetteville. So we're getting another World Cup. So this bodes really well. There is not a chance that we would have gotten a second Cyclocross World Cup had the UCI not been incredibly pleased with the work we did in the World Championships in January. So that's going to continue to pay dividends. Also, the Cyclocross Legacy Fund, which are the funds that we dedicated to support cycling tourism and local cycling efforts that came out of the World Championships. We are partnering with the Yvonne Richardson Community Center on Adult First Ride. So it's a series of classes teaching adults how to ride bikes. So there are a lot of adults in our community that perhaps never learned how to ride a bike, and now they can. Yes, thank you, Sarah, for pointing at me. That was me a mere 5 years ago, but no more. I'm quite the cyclist now. But it's exciting to be able to work with the YRCC and to do that. So. Visitor center attendance, I will let you read through that. I think the bottom line is that we continue to be just really impressed with the variety and diversity of visitors that we see in the visitor center. Opening on Saturdays has really been, we continue to see increases month over month in terms of both sales and visitation. And a lot of that is owed to the Saturdays. It's our most popular day for all the reasons that you might imagine. On the community engagement front, this is an interesting one. Last month's First Thursday, Ozark Our Oasis, it was a great event. I think theme-wise, it was probably my favorite. I thought that Chloe did a fantastic job. 1,500 attendees. Considering the heat, I think that was that Thursday it was like 100 degrees, and it's also, and this is the part about it that's interesting, it was also the same night as the Gully Park concert series. We had a meeting with Parks. I hope to have another one. I would really, really love to find a way that we didn't compete with each other. Yeah.
My wife, because we live right near Gully, and she went to First Thursday, but she said, oh, it'd be great if I could. Yeah, she had that same thing where it's like, oh,
Agreed.
having both of them the same night kind of dilutes the.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and so I hope that, First Thursday is a difficult one to move, just because the nature of the event is that it is on the first Thursday. So I would love to see if there's a way our friends in Parks could consider. There's typically one a year that falls on a first Thursday, and I'd love if maybe we found a different way to do that, or at least maybe work together somehow.
If you had a shuttle that.
Yep,
could
I
do
think
both.
that would be a great idea too, and maybe that's an opportunity to have a shuttle sponsor. Even,
Yeah,
so.
and so you could experience like two of Fayetteville's great events in one night.
Yeah, and so that may be the way we go. So we are talking about that for next year. We are aware. We did hear your comments. Yes, we are aware that it was a Gully Park concert series. But despite that, I'm really pleased with the turnout given the heat and the concert. Lights of the Ozarks is kicking into high gear, that planning. And our most popular First Thursday theme ever, Dog Days, is back in August, as is the dog pageant. And I will tell you, I don't know if Hazel's team feels the same way, but of all of the things, it's quite hilarious, of all of the things that we do, whether it be cyclocross or Lights of the Ozarks or big marketing campaigns, the most frequent Facebook message that I ever see come through is about the dog costume pageant. So people in this town apparently love a dog costume
Like,
pageant.
that's a lot of, that's
Love
an
their
opportunity
dogs.
for a lot of content.
So it is.
I mean, I would live stream that sucker.
It is, the amount of engagement is,
Yeah.
I
If you could
had no
figure out a way
idea.
to live stream that and turn it into like a real thing that
Yeah.
would be.
So there will be a dog pageant. If anyone is interested in being a celebrity judge, please let me know. Fayetteville Town Center has hosted 10 events since our last meeting. They continue to work closely with Food Loops on waste diversion. There's a new tool that they're using now, which is an event scorecard that gives a diversion, it kind of helps sets a diversion goal for each event. And what we want to develop is an annual target of waste diversion that we can continue to use and promote as a way to continue to highlight the town center as a sustainably conscious and environmentally conscious event. Woo, I am stumbling over my words today. Event venue. The Christmas in July sales promotion, thanks Hazel for your leadership on that. It's been very beneficial to the town center. We offered a 22% discount on early booking of holiday parties, and that has, we saw an increase in calls, particularly in the first 10 days after we did that promotion. And last but not least, on the town center, we applied for the bike-friendly business application. We had hosted those boot camps, but had not gone through that process ourselves. So we hopefully will find out soon that that designation has been awarded. And you will notice our bike rack that we have installed out front of the plaza. If you have not seen it, please go take a look. HMR and lodging. Our occupancy rate in June of 2022 was at 75%. That is closer to where we want to be. It's 13% up over June of last year, and that's great. Year-to-date occupancy is 63%. We want to see this higher, but still, it is a 15% over our hotel occupancy rate last year. The ADR is also going up, the average daily rate. Lodging collections, that's where we are seeing the growth, up 17% over last month. 67% increase in lodging collections over the same month in 2021. June restaurant collections were down over the prior month. That should not concern you at all, because if you'll recall, June restaurant collections were May activity. May restaurant collections were April activity, and April was a phenomenal month with Garth Brooks and the Pro Cup, and it was just such a high grossing month that it isn't. We would expect that it'd be a little bit, the activity be a little bit down in the next month. Overall, though, there's still a 10% increase in this month's collections over last year. So I feel really good about it. 19% increase in HMR year to date, which is great, which is really great. And I will either take questions or turn it over or turn it back to Todd for the next item on the agenda, whichever.
Well, clearly, if I really want to make a speed A&P meeting, I'm going to have to talk to Molly about her report ahead of time. Because we're going to fail on my objective.
There was a lot to share, and I
There
think,
was a lot
Sarah,
to share.
did you raise your hand?
Oh, wait.
Well, I
I'm
do
sorry.
have,
I don't
I
mind
also
to
do have,
answer.
I also do have a question. So go ahead if you'd like.
Well, this is not a big deal, but about the dog pageant and all of that. It's on the square. It's August. It's hot. How do you take measures? Because, like, I don't take my dog out for a walk when it's hot, because her little sensitive pit bull feet
Yeah,
get burned.
her little
you know.
paws.
So,
I will be honest with you. I know I will ask Chloe the specifics of that, because I'm not running point on that event. Chloe is, but I will ask her. And if there's not a way that we feel like we can do it safely, we we won't do it. I know that the team has been very good, at least on for our human attendees. I know they've been very good we put out free water stations and, try to cooling. I think that in the past when we have had pet-centered events, we have AstroTurf. I don't know if we still have that, but in the past, we've rolled that out. It may be that we roll out mats. I'm not for sure. Tyler, if you know the specific plan to protect the paws that you want to share, nod your head, or if we want to, okay, we will find out from Chloe and I will get back to you.
Well, to
Alright.
that point, there is no dog water available on the square on Saturday mornings any longer.
There is no, are you saying that on Saturday mornings, the water fountains aren't on?
No, I'm talking about for dogs.
Okay.
There are no dog bowls around anywhere for dog water.
Where
So-
were they, where did they,
Well, they were just around in the past.
do you know who put them out? Or
No,
was it a
they-
farmer's market thing, or?
Can't tell you. It was an
Okay.
individual store thing, farmer's market thing, but there's none now.
Okay. We typically do put out water for pets at the visitor center on Saturdays, so I will ask Eden if she's still doing that. I cannot speak to what local businesses might do. I think that's a great idea to have it out. I don't know if they do or do not, but,
We are working on a resolution for watering the animals, for providing water to the animals. We are also working on a solution.
when you say a resolution, I just want to clarify that he means a solution. We're not bringing like a solution. Yeah, yes. No. Yeah, so, okay, so it is something that we are paying attention to.
Yes, we are working on a
Got
solution
it.
for both of those.
Okay,
So
good.
let's talk about the marketing program for First Thursday
Okay.
specifically. What are we doing to highlight First Thursday besides saying it's First Thursday? Where are we marketing it and how broadly and how aggressively?
I can answer that.
Okay.
So we create Facebook events and we geo-target the Northwest Arkansas area. We boost posts. We also have digital flyers, not only on the Fayetteville flyer, but on local media as well.
And we, I believe, have those, just to add to that, I believe we also do some of those in Spanish and in English.
Yes, we do those in Spanish and in English.
Yeah.
So
What
I'm-
we have, go ahead.
I've been challenged as of late that it's not out there enough.
Okay.
And that people will see it after the fact and say, oh, yeah, it was First Thursday. I wish I would have remembered or seen something and gone. So I'd like to really look at how aggressively we could add into something beyond a digital campaign. And I don't have a suggestion. I acknowledge that it has been said to me, why isn't this advertised more? Why, I always see it after the fact. I don't see it in front of the fact.
So two things. One, that is good feedback to have. I will tell you that I think, just as a general rule, no matter what level of marketing you do for any event, there are a contingent of people that will always say, well, I wish I would have known that that was going to be here. And I don't care if that is a football game or a concert or a
Agreed.
council meeting. So there's some of that that is just going to be inherent to having a community event. One thing I want to ask, though, is when you say that you would like to see us extend beyond digital, are you typically in our world, when you say not digital, and I don't think this is what you mean, but are you suggesting that we move into print? Because we have pulled out of print.
So
just because
what I am suggesting is that when this was said to me, I reflected on it enough to say, oftentimes I don't see the things about First Thursday until after the fact myself. And I think that if we're totally limiting into a narrow space and, Facebook ads or flyers, that we are selecting a very narrow group that we're going after, and we need to extend the breadth of that reach. If First Thursday is cool, we should really put a lot more behind it and get more breadth around the advertising component there. That's what I'm saying. Now, beyond that, I won't go as far as to say print is dead, but it's wounded and bleeding in the corner. I understand that. But there's got to be something beyond Facebook and the flyer and geofencing. I'd like to see us with a broader reach. They're going to get people more where they are.
Yeah, may I
And
ask a question?
I want to continue,
Sure.
and I'll,
Yeah.
do you mind or go ahead, you can ask a question.
No, just from your perspective, where do you get your event information? Just
In
some
general,
insight,
for any
yeah.
event.
That's a really good question. Direct emails, if I get a direct email from Experience Fayetteville, I look at it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I see the highlights on the flyer because I get emails from Dustin. I see, emails from the Democrat Gazette. I have a Twitter window open all the time on my computer when I'm sitting in front of it. And occasionally I scan Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook's gotten to be a lot of garbage, so I look at it less and less.
Yeah.
And Instagram, if it's not one of the top 5 pictures, I'm usually by it. So, I understand people consume their social media differently, and that's why there are multiple platforms. But that's also why I think that, it's got some validity to it.
Yeah.
We need to broaden our reach in order to get more people.
So what I want to, and I don't want to spend too long on this, I want to just make sure though, and I want you all as commissioners to think about this, because in the past, First Thursday, while we do market it, promote it, we do send out a press release just into traditional media, and it is always going to be on the first Thursday of the month, May through October. It is always going to be on the Fayetteville Square. We have sort of approached it as not wanting to spend, tens of thousands of dollars and a big media push to First Thursday for a couple of reasons. One, it is a largely local event, which is great, but it isn't bringing necessarily, I don't believe, and what we haven't seen, a ton of people, I don't know that it is, it is not putting heads in beds, and I don't know that it is a traditional tourism draw. It's a community event, and it is a community event with value, but just in terms of marketing dollars, what percentage of a
Yeah,
marketing
and I
budget
think-
do we want to put towards an event,
I
and
think
to what
there's-
end?
Yeah, I'll be honest, the thing about it, I live near Gully, they have like a little banner up, so at least there's somewhat of a reminder, a physical reminder of like,
Yeah.
hey, this is happening. There's like lo-fi stuff you can do
Yeah.
just
And we have a banner that stays up
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
May through October, right on the square.
Maybe put a QR code to like
Yeah.
drive people, and maybe you could get that.
And it's on there,
Yeah,
and there is
okay.
one. Yeah, so I mean, I just don't, and I'm not arguing with
Email's
you.
an interesting one too. I think email's actually grown
So that's,
quite a.
if I may,
Yeah.
because that's one thing I forgot to add, we do send a
Oh, okay.
newsletter. So Jerica, who is our digital marketing coordinator, she sends an email to everyone who's signed up for our newsletter and sends them a reminder of First Thursday. So there is direct email happening as well.
So there's a newsletter, because that's where I get it. I would almost say, are we considering going straight to the hospitality industry, bars and restaurants, hotels? Hey, Wednesday before, First Thursday, remind people.
We can do
As a
that.
reminder. Or, we send an internal newsletter to, our staff once a month, and we found that, for the young people, they don't read the newsletter anymore. So we follow back up with a text message of the newsletter.
Yeah.
Text messages in that.
Which
Yeah.
gets read about 95% of it.
I
It's
think there's
unbelievable.
lo-fi ways. I don't think it's spending money. It's just kind of
No,
figuring
yeah, I
out some of
agree.
these things that are
Yeah.
more local and
More local community
yeah,
awareness.
yeah,
Okay.
just kind of reminders like.
I mean, if we had a flash text message that went out to whoever signed up for newsletters
Right.
and things like that 2 hours before,
Yeah,
you might be surprised what we get.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think there's ways. I don't think it's spending money as much as it's just very straightforward type stuff.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Yeah.
For people.
I think there are absolutely ways we can do that, and that makes sense. I think where I wanted to make sure I was understanding is when you said we really need to put a lot into it. In my mind,
A lot of thought.
right, yes, and we do. And so I just wanted to ensure we do have a quarterly newsletter. That's not often. It doesn't achieve what I think you're wanting it to. And in addition to, I'm sorry, do you have?
Yeah, it's not part of the newsletter. It's
Right, no, I know. I just wasn't done.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, so I just need.
Okay.
Sorry. We do have a quarterly newsletter that goes out that highlights it, and then we also have the additional, that point that she mentioned, the Jerica. I think the text message is interesting. And I think we could maybe implement that for a lot of things. We don't capture that information right now, like we don't have but that
I
might
mean,
be
that's a
great.
group you start to build. That's something besides First Thursday that you could use for other events, right?
Yeah.
Like that could be something that pays dividends across multiple programs.
Well, I mean, I get tons of junk text
Yeah.
all the time, but I will say, if it pops up on text, I'm gonna see it, and if it says, don't forget First Thursday starts at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just, it's one of those things where And I agree, Molly hit it on the head 100% on, so much advertising you can do, but I still have people that say, I didn't know that season tickets were even available.
Yeah.
Wait, you had
Yeah.
a football game on Saturday? Well,
Right.
yeah, we had 76,000 people there. So I get that. I think it is difficult because Hazel asked the right question, because we'll be at a roundtable too, and one of the things is how do you get your information, because everybody consumes it differently. I think to Molly's point, we know that there's going to be home football games from our standpoint, so we know that there's going to be a first Thursday.
But it's not, how do you make it top of mind?
How do you keep it top of mind? I think my consumption, of course, is all social media. But I think as far as a texting platform, I think it's hard. It's definitely hard to build a platform from ground up, because you've got to decide and determine who those people are that you're going to try to reach. If you're trying to get heads and beds, or if you've got to separate it between, do you want to consume local, or do you want to consume some type of tourism? There's got to be some type of checkbox, but it's a delicate balance on how you're building that, because to Todd's point as well, you're getting text messages, and we have people that opt out immediately as soon as we send it, because they're like, oh, we don't want another text message
Right.
that we need to renew our season tickets.
Right.
So I hear that. I think one thing that might be awesome, and this is how we kind of look at some of the pieces too, and talking to some of the people in our offices, one thing specific that I thought about was maybe a partnership with the Theater Squared or with the library, and utilizing some type of partnership there to help blast out information, and maybe provide them
I like
a free, if they pay for their
Space.
services, maybe just a free space.
Yep.
That then they can help cross-promote to their database.
Yep.
And maybe even the same with the Walton Art Center. I think I've seen them there before. But maybe some cross-promotion. We've had to do that several times on cross-promoting with some of our sponsors.
Yeah.
The other piece is if there's a restaurant in town, so Todd, maybe one of your restaurants, I'm just using this, a really cool bag stuffer. So any to-go boxes, pizza
Oh, I
box
like that too.
toppers, anything like that might be just another
Yep.
easy way. So.
That is, and that's some low hanging fruit too. Also, the one thing that we did that I'm really glad is that we've had a physical presence at the Gully Park concert series, just with the table, just reminding, not during the times when it's on the same night, but like the week before, we've had, Chloe's gone out and done that. And so I think there's some real, from a community engagement perspective, some ways that we can.
Yeah, it's almost different than pure advertising and marketing. It's like community engagement. And
Yeah.
that's the level you're looking at. You're not trying to cast a wide net, you're just trying to cast a net of the people who
Yeah.
are, and I say wide net in terms of locale, but
Right. And we haven't, and that's new we haven't, that is not something we have done a lot of.
Right.
So, in any form or fashion, in any way, and for any program. And so I think that can be a new,
I think you also said it earlier, that it hasn't been something that you're putting money towards. It's
Yeah.
been something that we know is a part of the Experience Fayetteville portfolio.
Right.
The other piece too that's really helped us is maybe, I'm not sure if there's an internship program, but one of the things that really helped us is building out a street team of volunteers that
I love
were from
that.
students on campus, that it might be 4 to 6 really strong students who need hours, and give them the opportunity to go out and market and promote for kind of boots on the ground. So maybe a thought there with the art court opening as well.
That's cool. I've long thought that it needs a committee of some sort, First Thursday, like a volunteer committee, like to help kind of achieve those and do those things.
if you were gonna do that, I would almost make it bigger, be like local community outreach beyond First Thursday, because you're gonna have more of these types of events that you're gonna wanna engage the public on. And so maybe First Thursday is the way in, but as you build that out, you can do it for other things as well. So it's not just for that.
No, got it. That is a good note.
Because we're gonna have a lot of those as we get more of the biking events and all that. You're gonna wanna have like that local team that can just get,
What's our attendee usually, attendee numbers for First Thursday? You got a guess, Hazel?
Hazel, do you have a recent, guess? I don't know.
I think it was 1,500 on here.
All right, what about Gully Park?
I have no idea. I'd have to ask Parks. I don't know that they would know, but if they do count it, I would have to, I can ask them.
Well, we definitely need to find a way to fix that overlap.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. I
Okay.
think that, I hope that that's something we can do.
And
Anything
then
else?
Changing really quick.
Yeah.
So the visitor center is awesome and does some really cool prints and stuff like that. Is there, just as a look ahead to the Lights of the Ozark, and this is probably already something that's being done, but is there a really cool shirt design maybe for that could be done and maybe marketed throughout the course of like November, December?
Yeah.
That might,
I think that's a great idea. I love that. We've done ornaments in the past, and there may already be things in the works. So I will write that down.
yeah, just
Because I
something.
love that.
Something fun.
Yeah, like a partnership with the visitor center and yeah, that'd be great. I look forward to reporting back on some of those ideas.
Okay.
Okay.
Jennifer, financial report.
Okay. You have June financial reports in your packet, and I'm not gonna go over the whole thing because the numbers are there for you to peruse. The revised budget that you approved last month is reflected in these financial statements. And so at the end of June, the budget target is 50%, because we're halfway through the year. So I'll just note at a high level, our revenues are at 54% and our expenditures are at 42%, both good numbers, the right direction. Our tax revenue, when seasonally adjusted, came in 7% above its year-to-date target, which is great news. And our spending, of course, was 8% below budget, and our net operating income is, I know that number's not right, so I'm gonna go look at it again. Sorry. My notes. Nope,
Wait a minute.
$545,983.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
My note sheet was wrong.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I
it's
saw the
correct.
number and I was like,
It's
I
cor-
know that's not right.
It's correct in the packet.
Yes.
Okay.
On the balance sheet, your cash and investments total approximately 4.6 million at the end of June. And that's just slightly higher than last month. And then the other thing I like to note on the balance sheet is the town center's unearned revenue is at $147,000. And I think about just under 130,000 of that is for this year. And then the rest is for 2023. The only other, something you might find interesting, we do have grants and other revenue for Experience Fayetteville is quite a bit higher. And I mentioned this in the budget review, but that is because we booked $168,000-ish of revenue from the cyclocross grant reimbursement for indirect expenses. And so that was an increase to our Experience Fayetteville financials. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to look into that. Or we can move on.
Okay. Marvelous. Hazel, marketing report.
Yeah, some exciting new things since we all talked last month. We've officially rolled out our new branding campaign, which is Authentic Fayetteville. And its aim is to message that Fayetteville is an authentic place to have an amazing experience. So we rolled out our new branding campaign, our 2 TV video spots that highlights Dixon Street and the trails. And then our talent as voice, I don't know if I mentioned this last month, but Coach Richardson is actually the voice of our commercials. And yeah, we have them queued up to share with you all.
Doesn't matter which.
This is a street. It's not just any street. This is Fayetteville's Dixon Street, a living artery connecting our past and future. This street has a creative energy that fuels Fayetteville. And what might fuel you? Maybe fresh Ozark air and a craft cocktail while you explore all Dixon Street has to offer. You gotta see for yourself. For an authentic experience in Northwest Arkansas, you've got to experience Fayetteville.
That's awesome.
I love it. Okay, and then we have one more. Oh, okay. Sorry. Needed to bring a mouse.
This is a trail, but not just any trail. This is an authentic Fayetteville bike trail. You're looking at nearly 50 miles of Northwest Arkansas's finest hand-cut single track. Is paid more, you think? Well, clip in, skinny wheels, crank your way through the beautiful Boston Mountains. We have other trails too, like our authentically crafted L Trail, paved with hops and barley. You gotta see for yourself. For an authentic experience in Northwest Arkansas, you've got to experience Fayetteville.
That's great. Like it.
That's awesome.
So really proud of those.
Those are great, those
You
are
should be.
great,
Good
Hazel.
job.
And Hazel and Ashley and Jerica and Susie and John, everybody on the marketing team really battled heat stroke and 100-degree days to be out and do this.
Yeah, and it all miraculously came together with Coach Richardson within a matter of days. And so it was amazing, and I'm really proud of it because I feel like this is one of the campaigns that is one of our highest energy, I would say. And just really, I mean, Coach Richardson really brought that high energy, but it's the most, I feel like it's super enthusiastic and encourages people to come to Fayetteville. And so additionally, our new digital and social ads are also running. We launched that July 1st. And media includes streaming and YouTube. And as you can see, you have some examples of some of these ads, social media ads and digital ads. That plays a little bit with the topography of Fayetteville, but also talking about that authentic experience in Fayetteville. And something to note is those two commercials and these ads for social media and digital ads are also in Spanish. And so they're being served up in Northwest Arkansas as well. And the other exciting thing that we've rolled out that you should all have at your spot is our Pocket Visitors Guide. So
Okay,
this
saw it.
was a solution to our visitors guide due to, print costs, chain supply issues. And so it's kind of a quick hit of the things to do in Fayetteville. And as you can see, the full version is also available on our website, but a lot of it has QR codes that send people to the website for more articles. So that's new, and that just came in like two weeks ago. Yeah, so hot off the press.
And much, well, you already said it. That was good. Just more portable and easier than the visitor's guide too. You can put it in your pocket.
Yeah. So the social media KPIs, I just wanted to share a little bit of this with you. Our social media continues to grow very well. In large thanks to Ashley Kane and Jerica Longview, who have been killing it on social media. As you can see, the page reach on Facebook is up 600%, and ironically, it's because of First Thursday.
Oh, the irony.
So that was a
The
little bit of
irony.
pride. That was still some leftover pride, page reach and First Thursday, because we create an event on Facebook, and it also directs people to the website. Our Instagram is still growing. I want to make a note that the new followers does not mean we lost negative 4.3. It just, we didn't grow as much from June to July. And we talked a little bit about also website referrals from social. You can see that a lot of the traffic that goes to the website is from our social media. We talked a little bit about this last month, so I wanted to kind of break it down. Those are those are destinations that follow our Instagram and Facebook combined. So obviously Fayetteville is the largest, but I was surprised to see Hot Springs as second, quite honestly, and Little Rock and Bentonville I think makes sense. So there's been a little bit of that.
I have a question about the followers.
Yeah.
So for an organization our size, a town our size, is that,
That's pretty healthy.
Pretty healthy?
Yeah. So just in comparison, Arkansas Tourism has about 70,000 followers on Instagram, and we almost have 60,000. So that's pretty healthy. For a DMO social media, we have, not to toot our own horns,
Yeah.
but we have pretty good social media numbers.
toot away?
Okay, and then I'm very excited about this next part because it's the first time we're bringing you some Buxton data. If you recall, a few months ago, you all agreed to go and for us to sign a contract with Buxton for some research. And so we really wanted to test this research with Pride. And as you can see, the heat map is of that weekend. Obviously, it makes sense, or that day, I apologize. It makes sense that Dixon Street is in red because a lot of the activities during Pride takes place on Dixon Street. But I wanted to show you where the top zip codes that were there were from. So Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, those were the peak times. And I included some of the household characteristics and age ranges because I want to show you the kind of data that we can pull from Buxton that really gives us the demographics and really gives us an opportunity to think about our marketing and the way we're addressing our audience. So,
Thank you.
and with that, I will turn it over to Mike Sells.
And Mike, before we turn it over to you, if I may make one comment about the Buxton, since there has been so much talk about First Thursday and the way we market it, because I know Hazel and her team put a tremendous amount of thought into that. It may be that now that we have this tool, that this is a good assessment. We can use this to look at September and October. I'm sorry, what month are we in? That we can, thank you, that we can use this to look at August and September and October too, and give us some data about who is there, and that also helps us inform.
Okay,
Yeah.
remind me, this is phone data, right?
This is,
Yes, this is phone data.
I'm terrified.
I know. I was thinking the same thing, Todd.
Really quick, can you go back really quick on that? What was going on right up by Goalie Park? Because there's a little bit of red back behind there. What was?
I'm not sure. It's just the red part is there's a high concentration of folks. So I'll
Yeah.
have to look into
Yeah.
it. What was happening? There was.
Maybe like some type of,
well, and my guess is there might have just been a lot of, if you
Yeah.
remember, it wasn't that hot of a day, and and there might have been
Goalie
just
Park's
a high
busy.
concentration of people in the
no,
park.
it's- yeah, I was just wondering like if there was a sub type of event going on there too.
There's always like birthday parties there and on the weekends. Yeah, it's Gully Park's always crowded on the weekends.
And as I get started, I'm gonna toot the horn of Hazel, Ashley, Jerica on social media. They kill it compared to, they are the best social media marketing team in this state from a DMO standpoint, and the numbers bear that out. This is just a 2-week, real quick, I will call this a too early glance at looking at the advertising campaign and the impact that it's having. And so we do that as soon as a digital campaign launches. We'll take a look and make sure that we're seeing what we want to see in terms of results. And so preliminarily, we're getting about 350 daily sessions from the directly tied to the advertising campaign. And it's coming from on social media. You see that list: Kansas City, then Tulsa, then Little Rock, then local. And on display, Kansas City, then Tulsa, then Little Rock, then Chicago, is where we're getting the traffic from the advertising to the Experience Fayetteville website. We will certainly give more in-depth data on that in the months ahead as the campaign has more time. That was 2 weeks. And just looking at the website analytics real quick, I'm gonna point out one thing. If you will look down on the left-hand side, that's a lot of data. Visitor Guide Flipbook and Visitor Guide PDF. At the 2022 versus 2019, which was pre-COVID, 69% increase in Flipbook views and 40% increase in PDF downloads. And so that very much supports this idea of going to a less expensive, more mobile, easier to change pocket guide that you have in front of you there. And then down at the bottom, 2015, 48% of our traffic to the Fayetteville website was mobile. Through the first 6 months of this year, it's 77.5%. It's insane.
Pretty soon we'll be at mobile only. We won't even do
Yeah,
that.
so print is dead. It's not, it's just like dead.
It's not quite, the ones who are doing it well are using digital, right? Like the
Yeah.
print, it's more of how you incorporate the two because they have different purposes, but it still works. It's just how they work together.
Right.
And that's the name of the game. But I wouldn't do a desktop site anymore. I wouldn't even waste the time. I'm being serious. Like, I would just do mobile only and call it a day.
Well, we used to build the desktop
Yeah.
and then make sure it worked on
Yeah,
mobile. Now we build the mobile and make sure that it works on
Right,
desktop
yeah.
for the 25% or the 22.5% now. Longwood's travel. So when COVID started, Longwood's research started doing a 1,000 sample size survey, what they called waves. They're on this is the 63rd wave of trying to see what's going on that's impacting travel related to the pandemic. Well, now, they're saying, well, let's just keep doing this because now the pandemic is not impacting as much, but the economy is, and the recession is. And so this is from July the 6th, and factors greatly impacting travel plans is 34%, transportation costs 43% of, specifically on rising gas prices. And then the next slide will tell you, look at the second one, I'm choosing destinations closer to home, 44%. And 36%, I'm reducing the amount I spend on entertainment and recreation. And so the pocketbook is beginning to impact people's travel plans and people's travel. And so we have to be mindful of that as we move forward with our marketing, to say, what can we do to keep that from having a negative impact on us, but taking advantage of it? Because we are a financially responsible place to come visit, if you will. That was it.
Okay.
Mike and Hazel, for the commercial with Coach Richardson, where, the commercial with Coach Richardson, where specifically will those commercials run?
Those will have different destinations, so Northwest Arkansas, Kansas City, Little Rock, Tulsa, and
Springfield.
Springfield.
Yes.
That's
And you can also
awesome.
go, just FYI, you can also go to our Experience Fayetteville YouTube channel and view them there as well. But that's where the media will run with those videos.
Good job on those.
Do we have the ability to loop those and put them out for,
But loop that, what do you, put them out for what? And loop them?
just put them out for people that have static TVs sitting in, waiting rooms or whatever, that we could, just load them on a USB drive, plug them in the back and let them loop?
I mean, we certainly have the ability to. I don't know if we have the distribution network. I don't know if we have like a list of people that would, I don't have a plan for how do we connect with.
Could we get a downloadable version of that somewhere so that
Oh, yeah,
we
absolutely.
could, somebody could do
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Mhm.
Yep, and we have them playing in the visitor center on our TV often. Unless it's a Razorback game, and then we play those. When we can. Yeah, when we can.
And one of the things that we like the most about that campaign is that almost every destination commercial, you could make a minor change and it would work for another destination. There is no destination in the world other than Fayetteville, Arkansas, that creative, that voiceover, that works for. It's just very unique to Fayetteville.
When you put it up on YouTube, are you guys doing anything where you have URLs, so when it shows the couple with the drinks, you're talking about ORA? Are you linking to anything from there so someone would understand, like, why are this couple walking down the street with a
Yeah.
couple
I
cocktails?
don't think we do at the moment, but that's a good idea.
Because that way it'd be
Yeah.
like, well, why are we doing that? And then
Yeah.
you could do that for
Yeah.
every little thing, and then it's just kind of a
Yeah.
deep link to say.
So for each section, for each frame almost,
Right.
if you click, you
Right,
go to
you
that
can get more details,
target.
it'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
why are they walking around with a couple
Right.
cocktails? Because there's an outdoor refreshment
Yeah.
area, and they could get, information on that. The only other thing, did we have something that says voice of Nolan Richardson?
I don't think on the video, we don't.
We don't on the video.
I put that on there so people know.
Yeah, I would too.
Okay.
NCAA champion.
Oh, okay. You mean from, and you're.
Voice of, like
Yeah.
voice of, yeah.
And just to be clear, you are recommending that from the marketing value, not from any sort of legality of
Yeah, just
having
be
it.
like,
Yeah,
who's
just
this
to
guy
brag
talking?
about it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another
'Cause we all
question,
know,
you
but-
mean in-
Right.
You mean within the video,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
copy.
Like a little.
Like at the
little
bottom.
super,
or
yeah.
something. Oh, okay.
Like the music video thing at the bottom.
Like voice of Nolan Richardson.
Yeah.
Remember when they
We
used,
talked
remember
about
music videos when they used to have those?
But a lot of them, yeah, just because
Anyone?
that's kind of neat that you have him,
Yeah.
so you might as well draw attention.
My
to
kids
it.
don't know what music videos are,
Yeah.
so I didn't know. So. Okay, yeah. They don't.
There's
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Hazel. Mike? Molly, I think I'm back to you because you're going to talk about the audit.
Yeah, so, and I will be brief. I'm going to hand it over to Cynthia unless Jennifer has something to add. BKD is, you might hear me mess up and say BKD. I apologize. They are and in fact, even in our memo, they are no longer BKD. They are now Forvis, but it is Forvis, formerly known as BKD. They have done our audit for the past couple of years, as well as the city's audit. And this is Cynthia, and I will give you the floor.
Thank you. We have really enjoyed working with Fayetteville Advertising and Promotion Commission for the last few years. Jennifer and Molly and their team have always been really great to get us everything we need to be able to complete your audit timely, since it is included in the ACFR that the city turns in before the end of June for their GFOA certification. This year, there's not a lot different in your report from prior years, but I do want to bring your attention to a few things. The main opinion, I'm not sure mine has page numbers here. I guess it is page 1. The standard has changed with the 21 audits, and they have totally redone the opinion. And so the opinion is now the very first paragraph here.
And
so
Cynthia, I'm so sorry. I'm going to interrupt you for a moment to make sure. Since we have two materials, it might be good, because are you talking, we have the report, and then we have, I think, what is the management letter at the beginning?
Yeah.
So you're talking about, so you have to flip back in your paper fairly far. You're on the wrong thing.
I am.
Yes. So it's not the first page, it's the first page of the independent auditor's report, which is after the management letter. So it'll,
I'll start with the,
That's where it was, I thought.
no,
It says
keep going.
independent auditor's report.
yeah, 'cause there's really not a whole lot in the
Got it.
required communications.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have anything.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So because the Fayetteville AOP does their books on the regulatory basis of accounting that is allowed by Arkansas state law, you have two opinions. You have an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get on the regulatory basis of accounting, and then an adverse opinion on GAAP. But they've changed this to put those opinions at the very first of this, because I feel like that is the most important part to the financial statement readers. And then just, it explains the reason for the unmodified opinion and the basis for the adverse opinion. Some additions that they have added to this is on page 2, where it talks about responsibilities of management. They really want to emphasize that management is responsible for assessing going concern, and that the commission is responsible for that, to determine that there's no issues that would indicate a going concern issue from 12 months of the financial statement date. Then it goes into the auditor's responsibility, and they really have expanded this section. The bullet points here at the bottom of page 2 and the top of page 3 discuss some various things that we do in our audit procedures. That last bullet point there on page 3 emphasizes that while it is the commission's responsibility to determine that there is no going concern, or if there is a going concern, then we, during our audit, conclude that we agree with the commission's assessment of their going concern. And in our testing, there was no issues that we identified that would raise any problems with the commission. And then this last paragraph on page 3 references the opinion that's at the very back of this document. This is the opinion that talks about your internal control over financial reporting and compliance. And so you'll see in that opinion that is also modified, and there are no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses to report. So those are the two opinions that basically are at the front of the document and at the back of that document, and the commission received the best opinions that you can get there. The rest of the report is pretty consistent with prior years, and then you've got the 6-month financial information that Jennifer has provided you, so it's more up to date than this at 12/31. The only note I would like to draw attention to is the very last note, which just talks about the Paycheck Protection Program loan that the commission received and the accounting treatment for that. And that's really the only difference there, because the cyclocross revenues have been flowing through your financials for the last few years. And so this paycheck protection loan is really the only change on your report. So it's a very clean report. We did not, and I'll move now to the management letter. On the second page of it,
And it was back at the, I think we must have put them in the wrong order. We put the management letter first, so I will scroll back up to that on the screen.
so on page 2 of this letter, this letter is very much standard language, but you'll see here towards the bottom of this page where it talks about audit adjustments, that there's no matters reportable, no significant issues that we had to discuss with management, no difficulties encountered in performing the audit. Really the only change in this letter is we're now required to have conversations with management and to report to those in charge of governance if there are any significant unusual transactions. And there were none that we identified during our testing or that we identified in talking with the team at the AMP. On the back page, it does mention that the representation letter is attached, and there were some deficiencies that we discussed with Molly and Jennifer. Those are just basically some minor things due to the size of the AMP commission and their staff and not being able to fully segregate duties to where things will be stopped to begin with. There are just some areas when you don't have a large staff that you're going to have a deficiency that requires something to catch it after the fact, and it's required to be reported as a deficiency. So, no entries that we recommended to be made to the AMP's books, and no issues that we identified as far as your internal control.
Thank you, Cynthia. Jennifer, do you have anything you need to add?
No, it was another good year and a good audit, and I always enjoy working with what used to be BKD and is now Fortis.
Do we need to accept the audit report? Motion around that?
That's a great question. So I do not think, and Philip is here instead of Vince, and so unless you know a legal reason, otherwise, I don't know that in the past we've voted to accept the audit. It's simply just a presentation. So
Okay.
I don't know that there's a vote that is required, but, okay.
Okay. So that's the end of our agenda, unless you have anything else you'd like to add?
I do not.
Okay. Then, gosh, 40 minutes past where I wanted to be. Just won't work. Gonna have to plan more. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's properly moved and seconded by Commissioner Kenny and then seconded. Kenyon, sorry.
okay.
And then, yeah, Kenny is not here, my fault. And then seconded by Commissioner Sanderson. That we adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you, commissioners and all the staff. Great work today.
Thank you.